Absolutely. What you look at here is that when I talk to the experts that really understand China trade, they tell me that China is getting very concerned on whether or not President Trump and the Trump administration are reliable negotiators. And they're looking at this and saying, look, this is the week that Canada, Mexico, the United States all started the formal process of getting the USMCA, the new NAFTA, officially passed in each of their countries. And out of the blue, we get a tweet that imposes tariffs. So from a Chinese perspective, if you don't think a deal is going to stick, why even negotiate?
Some headlines just crossing about Mexico's response to the tariffs. According to Reuters, Mexico's National Farm Council says potential retaliatory tariffs on U.S. exports to Mexico could include grains, pork, and apples. Ed, what happens to the new NAFTA?
Well, I think the new NAFTA ultimately still passes. I think that the alternative is still the worst case scenario for most members of Congress. When I talk to folks up on Capitol Hill, they keep on telling me they are doing everything they can to get this across the finish line. It is going to involve a lot of back and forth. This absolutely kind of sidelines some of the progress that we saw, and you're not going to bully, say, Nancy Pelosi into passing it. But ultimately, Trump will threaten to blow up all of NAFTA unless the USMCA passes. And with that as the calculation, you have to think it actually gets through.
Do you think the likes of the EU and Japan will be quaking in their boots? Because I guess we learned in the last 24 hours it's not just China that's currently in the crosshairs.
Yeah, I would say Japan's still probably in a pretty good position, but I am very concerned about what's happening with the EU. I think what President Trump has said from the beginning is he wants you to pick a side. Are you with the United States or are you with China? And what he has seen over the last year is he thinks that a lot of EU nations are siding with China and taking advantage of this fight. You have a new Airbus deal between France and China. Italy is doubling down on the Belt and Road Initiative, and no one's really listening to him as it relates to Huawei. And so if he wants to get the EU to pay attention and choose the United States over China, he's absolutely going to ratchet up the pressure on the European Union. And these car tariffs, which he decided not to do earlier this month, he absolutely can go back to that at any time he wants. And I think you have to assume he does it.
So it's quite a picture, Steve, that Ed is painting. Tariffs here, there, anywhere, anytime, right. Any country, any friend. I mean, you have to admit, even though you haven't been that worried about what happened today, that it hurts growth. So is there a specific trade, energy, for instance, got killed this week? Is there a specific sort of slower growth trade you want to be in right now?
So here's the problem, though. When you look at energy, you couldn't have painted a more bullish scenario for energy, right? You have geopolitical concerns. You've had issues all around the globe where you think that this should be the time. You've had M&A. You've got real tailwinds for energy. And it's done nothing but back itself up and trade lower. But I do like Ed's comments about the EU. I think this is the way Trump is talking to the EU, but talking to Mexico in his way. So I think he's able to check out a lot of boxes at Mexico's expense.